I was definitely nervous, just because I didn't know what they were expecting. And like I said, I hadn't mixed them before either. But the first couple shows I did with them, Brian, the vocalist, texted me and said, "Matt, we need you in the green room right now," directly after one of the sets. And I'm like, "Oh my God." Like, I'm going home.
Yeah, tell that to an anxious
And
person and see how they react.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But he pulled me into the green room. He's like, "Hey, man, that was the best we've ever sounded." And I'm like, "Oh my God, dude.
Don't ever do that to me again.
Yeah, it was crazy, man."
Welcome to the Brutality podcast. My name is Dom, and I just have a few things to shout out before diving into today's episode. First, I wanted to mention that we have a Discord server. If you want to stay up to date with everything podcast related, that is the place to be. But also, if you want to be a part of a community of like-minded people who are looking to just talk about and discover deathcore, whether that be old or new, all that happens over in the Discord server. Also, if you want to help support the show, we now have a Patreon. Some of the perks include early access to episodes, your name in the credits, being the first to know about our upcoming guests, member-only channels in our Discord, and so much more. All of that on Patreon. Also, we have some merch. We have 2 t-shirt designs that we are very excited about. You can go and find those over at indiemerchstore.com. And last but not least, we do these podcast recordings live on Twitch every single Wednesday at 6 p.m. EST. So if you want to be a part of the conversation, if you want to see the unfiltered, unedited versions of these episodes, that is where we do it. So links to all of that down in the description wherever you are watching or listening. That's all I have to plug. Thank you for listening and enjoy this episode. Matt Andrews, welcome to the show, my man. How are we doing?
What's up? What's up? Thank you for having me, guys.
Of course, man. Of course.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I know you had an extremely busy day so far today. So, what can you tell the people about what you've been doing today?
Well, I'm part of the house audio team for a hardcore festival out here in Louisville, Kentucky called LDB. It's a really, really awesome festival. It's been going on for a couple of years now. Yeah, I'm just mixing every other band on the festival. So I think there's 12 bands a day. So I'm mixing about 12 bands in total.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah. So it'll be crazy, but
yeah, you were just kind of setting things up today, just prepping.
Yeah. Today was our prep day. We have another prep day tomorrow, and then the festival starts.
There we go. What's which band are you most looking forward to mixing?
Oh man. Maybe Basement.
Hell yeah.
You know, I love Basement so much, man. Other than that, man, I love all of the bands on the fest. So I'm kind of just looking forward to mixing everybody. I'm really looking forward to mixing Big Ass Truck. They just got added last minute. They're heavy as fuck. Yeah, man, just looking forward to it in general.
Yeah, you've got Static Dresses on that, right? Kind of like a bit of a wild card on the lineup, but it's such a cool fucking band right now.
Yeah, every year we kind of have one of those wild card bands, but it just makes the fest that much better, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good, honestly. We've been seeing more of that, and if I go to like, I love being surprised, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's cool when everything's, but it's great when like there's one thing that really stands out and stuff, and that's how you make new fans, and you know, it makes it interesting. I think it's a good move.
Absolutely, man. I'm really looking forward to seeing Peeling Flesh, and I'm just really happy that they're on the actual festival. I'm not mixing them. They have their own guy who's fucking incredible. Shout out Kramer. But they're such a cool band to have on the fest, man.
They're like specifically the kind of band that they're like not hardcore at all, but they fit a hardcore bill so well. Like you've seen them do Sound and Fury and stuff like that, and it's the same kind of ethos. I feel like people piling onto each other to grab the mic, and like I don't know, it's like the people on stage and stage dives and crowd killing and all these things.
Hardcore energy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's big hardcore energy for not a hardcore band, you know.
Well, I mean, it all comes back from that stuff, right? Like it's all from the same vein. It just spread out into different worlds, you know what I mean? Different genres. Mm-hmm. But it all comes back to people just love heavy shit, you know?
It's cool to see too, because like I would personally never expect like a band, like a slam band, to be doing this well and like getting bigger and bigger. It's amazing to see, honestly. It shows that people love heavy, bouncy things, you know? It's a fun thing. You know, it's not just heavy. It's like even somebody outside of metal could be like pretty good. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
big time, man.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's cool, man. So yeah, man, we were kind of talking a little bit off stream here. We go way back, me and you.
Way back.
Like way back. But we also haven't seen each other in a fucking minute. That's also been a long time. I think I was trying to figure it out earlier. I think the last time I saw you is probably when you guys shot the music video Under the Bridge.
Absolutely, dude.
Pouring rain, but shooting a music video under an overpass. The one thing that always sticks in my brain from that shoot was we were shooting photos for you guys to get some promos at the same time, and the smoke or the fog that it's in the photos was you guys vaping to get the fucking smoke in the shot. And that always stuck in my brain.
Yeah, they love those vapes. Let me tell you. Sorry, my phone's falling here. Yep. Oops. Sorry, guys.
No, you're good. But yeah, man. So I mean, from a personal standpoint, I think it's like I said, we haven't seen each other in a minute. But it's cool to see you, I guess, doing music again, because for a while, I guess that's mostly, I mean, we both kind of stopped doing music at the same time, if we're being real. But now you're popping up with a new project with Flesh Prison, and it's been cool to see. I know you kind of mentioned in passing how, you had started writing these songs like 5 years prior. You had been working on this stuff, but then at the same time, you weren't really sure about wanting to put out music again like that. There was some sort of anxiety linked to, being in a band and putting out music. So can you kind of talk to us a little bit about that and maybe, the motivation to get started and doing music again and all that?
For sure, man. I think I kind of just burned myself out from music for a bit, because I went with Falsifier. We went hard for, so almost 7 or 8 years, and it really, really took a toll on me. I kind of felt like I wasn't able to start my life the way I probably properly wanted to. And it messed with me. And I started writing these songs just for fun. Like, wasn't really trying to achieve anything with them. But the more I kind of worked on them, the more I kind of fell in love with it. And I've always wanted to start a deathcore band. Like, I never really considered Falsifier a deathcore band by any means. I thought we were heavy metalcore, which is still fucking awesome. But I really wanted to write deathcore and be in a deathcore band. So that was kind of the motivation to want to get back into it. And with the revival too, like I know we talk about the MySpace revival. That was the shit I grew up on. You know what I mean? So I to be able to revive some of it in some way is awesome to me.
Is there like, were you kind of like jumping back into these songs every now and then, like, and then, not really being sure you were wanting to put them out eventually, or like how that, or were these just like old songs from 5 years ago? Like,
yeah. So I wrote the core of the songs about 5 years ago. And then within the last 6 months or so, I linked up with a very, very talented guitarist named Jesse McKay from Toronto. And together we kind of ripped the songs apart completely. Some of them didn't even end up getting used. Like we had this fire from being able to write together that we really reworked a lot of the stuff and made it what I really wanted it to be. Because I would listen to the songs that I had, and I kind of felt like they were missing a bit of a spark or excitement. And I really was just struggling to get it down myself. And I figured if I brought somebody else in, then it would go a lot easier. And it's been amazing. Yeah.
Sometimes it's also because you said you've been working naturally on it for a long time. It's kind of hard when you're too much into it sometimes too, to just like, you heard it so much, like sometimes you don't even know, you're like, I'm not even sure if it's actually amazing or if something's missing. So a new perspective like that can change everything, even in small details, right?
Absolutely, man.
So
Absolutely.
And I love that you did it in a natural way, right? Like your intention was just, let's have fun with you. And it should be always like that, right? But let's be honest, it's not always like that. There's a lot of, and I get it. Sometimes people are making music for a specific goal, but in your case, it was just like, let's have fun, let's do stuff that I love. So everything was building up. You didn't even know that you would do that with someone at some point. So it's kind of building all naturally. It's cool.
Yeah, dude, it all happened really, really fast too. Like I sent a song over to Jesse, and then he sent me a song that he was writing, and they were like they just fit perfectly together, and we're like, oh man. So then I'm like, hey, let's see what you can do with my song, and I'll see what I can do with your song. And it kind of like the chemistry, man. Once it like when you really click with writing with somebody, it's just like it's crazy chemistry.
Unlimited.
Yeah, dude, it really is. I feel like my writing potential has been like just excelled because of him. It's great.
It's cool. And I love the name too. I have to say, I really have to. It's a good name. I mean, we see so many names, right? It's pretty, people don't think about that. It's difficult to come up with an actual name. People think it's easy. Oh no, it's you can spend so long on
deathcore band name that doesn't just sound goofy. Yeah.
Dude,
taken.
The way I came up with it was so funny too, because I literally just yelled out. I was like at one of my friends' houses, and something pissed me off, and I just yelled out, "I'm sick of this flesh prison." and then I just sat there, and I'm like, "Wait, that's kind of a dope name." And then it just never left my brain after that, man.
So basically everything down to the name came up naturally with
dude,
that.
absolutely. Yeah, nothing has been forced. It's been crazy.
How do you said Jesse's like a longtime friend? Like where'd you meet Jesse? Like what? Because I know other people in the band, are in other bands, but I wasn't able to find much about Jesse. So what's his background? Where does he come into the play?
Jesse used to play in a hardcore band, which I'm forgetting the name of, and he's going to make fun of me for that. I'm so sorry, Jesse. But we've just been internet friends forever. And we always kind of just sent songs back and forth. And, I don't know. He's just been one of those guys I've known forever. He's been a really talented guy. He was going to play for Falsifier at one point. But we just weren't looking to bring on another guitarist at that time. So yeah, it all kind of it was the right time.
Hell yeah.
We've just known each other forever.
Then the other thing, member wise too, y'all had me confused when I was but then seemingly I was not the only person confused, judging by the comments on the initial post that we made. So I know you as being a drummer from drumming in Falsifier. And not knowing that you were doing something else, but then also you're like, no, I'm actually playing bass, and then my mind goes to, well, what the fuck is Skinner doing? Because he was bassist in Falsifier. So what's the deal with the instruments? And then have you always played guitar? Like but now you're also playing bass. So what's the whole thing? Break it down for us.
So I mean, I've notoriously always been a drummer my entire life. I've always played guitar though, just as kind of like a hobby. But I knew enough guitar to be able to write breakdowns. So that was the key.
Yeah, that's the main component. That's what matters.
Yeah. So I'm playing bass live in the band. Skinner is playing guitar live. But me and Jesse are recording all the guitars. So I'm writing everything on guitar with Jesse. And yeah. I just wanted to play bass. I don't know why.
So you picked the bass ultimately, right? Because you could have you could have chosen guitar as you could have chosen drums, right? But you specifically said no, for this project live, I want to play bass. That's my thing.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, I'm also lazy. I'm also lazy too, so I felt like the bass may be easier alternative for me.
I mean, move basically on stage.
Yeah, pretty much.
There you go. That's a really good way. To me, it's like your role. It's more of an entertainer. Like to me, not to downplay bass. I love bass, but I'm just saying, like as a live performer, it feels like there's almost like a pressure of moving and going crazy if you're playing the bass, right? Like it kind of. So you're going to be able to perform and
exactly.
move.
Exactly.
And your songs are insane, by the way. Like I don't think I said it, but like I mean, I'm a huge fan of a breakdown after a breakdown and a break, and you guys are doing that very, very well.
You're gonna love the new music. Let me tell you. Thank you, man.
I mean, it's we keep talking about these things, but like it's the kind of music that you can just basically someone who never heard it can put it in your car, and there's not like a single part that you cannot just be like. At the very least like that. So it's really good.
Thank you, man. That was our goal with writing. We didn't want to have any boring or filler shit. We just wanted to be ass beater the entire way.
Succeeded.
Thank you, man.
I can confirm, and it's so fun live. That's the other thing, right? Like when you write, like I could tell, I mean, I should probably ask you, but like I could tell as I was listening that it's meant, it's a live, fun, sick vibe thing. People are going to go crazy with that, right?
Yeah. It's meant to crush venues pretty much.
Crowd love you, venues less, but that's another.
Us. Yeah. We'll get to that point when we start playing shows,
Can't wait to see it.
Hell yeah, man.
Oh, that's cool. What were some of the influences you were going through when you were kind of like, thinking about this project? Because this is like kind of if we're talking 5 years ago, the revival wasn't a thing, but you said you grew up on the MySpace deathcore thing. You always wanted to do a deathcore band. So what was kind of what was it you were kind of being influenced by or stoked on at the time? What made you want to make that kind of sound?
Man, at that time, it was actually the band that made me want to start writing this deathcore project 5 years ago was Within Destruction when they released Death Wish. I still think it's one of the best deathcore albums out there, at least modern deathcore albums. So that was a big motivation at the time. And then obviously over the 5 years, music has changed quite a bit. And sorry, my phone's falling. But now the biggest influence when I started rewriting everything was the revival bands. So Psycho Frame, Peacemaker was a big one. Yeah, those two were really, really huge. Like I would reference a lot of stuff that they were doing and try to figure out their formula. You know what I mean? And see how I could rework it into our own thing.
Really cool. Well, it's people know, but like we cannot stop talking about Psycho Frame and like Peacemaker are awesome as well. But like you still, I appreciated the fact that you still have your own vibe. It's bouncy, it's cool, the aesthetic, love the colors as well. Like, did you come up with that kind of naturally, like this whole yellow red kind of thing? Like I'm curious to know.
No, I reached out to my good buddy Charlie Smith, who goes by
Charlie the Goat.
Yeah, dude, Charlie is insane. And I just messaged him and I said, I sent him our EP and I said, I want you to create something that will fit this. You have full free reign. I sent him some suggestions. Honestly, I probably sent him Psycho Frame, Peacemaker, and those bands. But he really just took it and went with it. And we just gave him free reign. He's such a talented artist. that it's just, when you get somebody like that, it's better just to kind of let them do their thing, you know? I find, at least. Personally.
No, you're right. No, you're right. I feel like it even applies outside of music. Like a tattoo artist, if you give a little bit of freedom and you let the artist, like a good artist, go with what they're good at, it's going to be 50 billion times better than being like, hey, I want exactly this and this. And it applies to a lot of stuff, you know? So I think it's a good mentality, and it's more fun for the artists, right? It's like way more fun to be like, I'm gonna come up with it. So
yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to just having a mutual trust. You know, you trust that they're gonna do what they think is best, and it's just, I've never been steered wrong with putting my trust in an artist or like a mixing engineer, you know, anything like that.
Yeah, because you've went with a few cool people from within the scene for various different things on this project. You know, you got Salem to do a little visualizer thing. Logan Beaver, I wasn't aware of his stuff until I saw your guys' visualizer. He does some badass fucking stuff. I was looking at his other work too. He do you know him because of his front of house work too?
Yeah, he's one of my really good homies. We toured with Motionless in White, and I became pretty close with him. He's a fucking insane front of house engineer. Like so good. I
mean, insane visual artist too. I mean, he seems to be, just generally speaking, a great artist, right?
Absolutely, in general, absolutely. Yeah, he crushed that visualizer for us. It was not planned either. He hit me up randomly and said, "Hey, I want to do this for you. Send me all your stuff." I said, "Okay, sure." and I owe him eternally.
That's cool.
When you released it, were you? Because I'm kind of curious how, if it was a little bit stressful for you, because you've been working for a long time on it. You know, it's a burden to you. So were you kind of, you know, excited and kind of scared at the same time to see the reactions and stuff like that?
Yeah, dude. When the first song dropped, dude, even when we revealed ourselves as a band, when we like made the post, my hands were like shaking. You know what I mean? But it was just so much excitement, and then the response that we got immediately was pretty fucking awesome. And I didn't know what to expect, just because I'd been out of this for so long, and I didn't really know how to go back into being in a band and promoting and all this stuff. But yeah.
I obviously, you know, with the experience that you have, the fact that you can do multiple, it's not everybody who can have the perspective of each instrument, right? Like it's I would even say it's fairly rare, and I'm always very jealous of these people, but it's I wish I could. But do you feel like the fact that you know drum well and stuff like that kind of facilitate everything in terms of like vision for the project? The fact that, you know, you do mixing, you do all these things, or is it kind of different because it's your thing?
It definitely helps knowing the core of those instruments and knowing how I wanted it to sound. But there was so after me and Jesse finished writing the core, the structure of the songs, I sent them off to Bobby Crow from Signs of the Swarm, just because I wanted a drummer's take on the drums, and I wanted him to just kind of give his creative input on things. And he, like, some of the songs, he really kind of went in on them and formulated them into what they are now.
That's cool. I didn't know Bobby had any involvement in this process. That's cool.
Yeah, it started just as like, I would love you to edit my drums and just like kind of make them more crazy, I guess. And he decided to just do some production stuff and sent me back a completely different song than what I sent him. So I'm like, all right, we got something here. So
I mean,
shout out
how
Bobby.
Cool is that? You know,
dude.
You know, and it says a lot, because it means that, like, you know, he liked what he heard, and he's like had a vision and just went with it, like true artist reaction, like pure love, basically, of it is what happened.
Yeah, and dude, seeing how excited he would get over the songs too was when I was like, all right, maybe we got something special here, you know?
Pun intended, but it's a good sign.
Yes,
So,
exactly. Hey.
there you go.
Get out of here.
No, but it's cool for real, because I'm asking that because sometimes, as much as it helps having that vision, it also can go on the other side where either you don't even know anymore or you're too hard on yourself. So like you hear so many things. So that's why I'm asking, because most people are just going to assume that it's easier, but I'm guessing on the other side, it's like you've seen so much that it could be potentially confusing when you're doing it yourself too. So it's good. You know, it's always good to have different perspectives.
I'm trying to force myself to do a lot more of the production and like final touch on the new stuff, just to kind of prove to myself that I can do it. But Bobby had a huge hand in that first EP, and a lot of the new songs that we have too.
Brutality Podcast is sponsoring the Self-Care Others Harm tour, which is a Thus Spoke Zarathustra album release full USA tour featuring a crazy amount of amazing bands in the revival scene as regional supports. Bands on the run include Surfaced, Slamwich, Lilith's Demise, In Which Divides Us, Mauled, Reverent, Brain Injury Unit, and Delilah. So incredibly stacked lineup. If you want to check out the full dates as well as venue information and what bands play where, head on over to brutalitypodcast.com/TSZ tour or hit the link in the description. Just a quick second to thank the sponsor of today's episode, Indie Merch Store. Indie Merch Store are back at it again with another themed collection, and this time around it is the Horde of the Tees, featuring 13 brand new designs from Aborted, Carcosa, Cattle Decapitation, Crown Magnetar, Cryptopsy, Disembodied Tyrant, Mental Cruelty, Of Sulfur, Signs of the Swarm, The Red Cord, Zenith Passage, Vired as Murder, and last but not least, To the Grave. All of these are printed and ready to ship, so you can head on over to indiemerchstore.com to check it all out, or check the link in the description. Also, you guys can use code BRUTALITY for 10% off your entire order. It helps you guys save a little bit of money and help support the show at the same time. So big thank you to Indie Merch Store. Go check out the collection, and now back to the show. How does Skinner and Paul come into the picture?
So Skinner, I always told Skinner that if I was going to start a new band, I was going to have him in it regardless. You know, I'd find something for him to do, even if he didn't have a part in it necessarily. I love him. He's my brother, you know. We've been through so much together, so I figured, why not go through so much more together? Yeah, Paul.
Caveat: I'm gonna steal your instrument, though. Deal with it.
yeah. It's like, I want you in this, but you're gonna play when I fucking tell you. No. Paul was a suggestion by one of my friends in Windsor, and it was kind of one of those things that the second the name was brought up, I'm like, oh fuck, of course, like, you know. And that was the only, like, as soon as he mentioned Paul, I was like, all right, it's Paul. Paul is our guy. Sorry, Paul, you're our guy. You know.
It was not his choice.
No, dude, I'm pretty sure I messaged him like, hey, so you're gonna be in my band.
Here's how it works.
Yeah, exactly. Here's your rate. No, I'm kidding.
That's cool though. I think he does. I think he's good at catering to the music, because he has slightly different vocals, like a different kind of vocal style on Cruel Intent as he does on your guys' stuff, which I really appreciate. Like, I think he fits Flesh Prison really well, and like the vibe that you guys are specifically going for with the band. So was there how was it, I guess, like vocal tracking, or like, did you guys have ideas for lyrics and stuff already from working on it for so long, or did he kind of come up with stuff tracking it? How'd that all go?
He really took the reins on all of the vocal stuff. You know, he wrote all the lyrics. I think I maybe wrote one line, and like, so what he would do, he would go into the studio in Rexdale, just outside of Toronto, And he would track his whole parts, send them over to me. I would, kind of go through them, and then I'd send him notes back saying, "Hey, let's try this at this part, or let's try this at this part." And then he'd go back in the studio and he lay it down, and that was it. He's like the best vocalist I've ever worked with in my life. He's he's just so easy to work with too. Like when you suggest something, he's not like, "No, I want to do this."
There's no ego involved.
Yeah, dude, there's zero egos in this band, which was super important for me.
Well, that's kind of what it's reflecting, how your mentality as well. Everything you said, it all makes sense when you hear it, but not everybody can do that. You know what I mean? Like just what you did as a drummer to be like, "Hey, what do you think, Bobby?" Just this simple thing. So many people could benefit from a perspective like that, but how many really are able to do that? Put the ego aside and just be like, "Hey, what you think about that?" It sounds logical. It is the right thing to do, but yeah, it's not always like that. So it's cool when you find, and it feels like you did, when you find people that thinks the same way, and it just like sky's the limit afterwards, because it's just like no ego. Let's see how it goes, and it feels natural more in this sense, right?
Absolutely.
So it's really cool. And while we're talking about the vocals, I also wanted to mention that like it's cool because I feel like people are now expecting specific vocals with modern deathcore, and I was so stoked when I heard how old school per moment it was. I mean, like I think the song freaking I'm Consequence or whatever, like there's a huge squeal, like Excel squeal. It's so sick. Like, I mean, I could hear that all freaking. Then it's a very old school thing that you don't hear much, you know what I mean? So I appreciate that. Like I'm pretty sure just hearing his vocals, he could have done like very modern stuff like easily. I'm pretty sure he can do a lot of things, and I feel like it fits what you did, that he went more old school in these parts. So I also really appreciate that. It's really cool.
Of course, dude, the only thing I really suggested to Paul when he joined was I just want it to sound like Mitch Lucker from The Cleansing. That's my golden standard for deathcore vocals. It always will be. You don't I'm a fan of the Vocal Olympics. We don't have to get into it too much, but I'm also a fan of just give me some highs, give me some lows. It's all you need.
Yeah, I feel like it always depends on the project first thing, right? Like I feel like for some bands, it makes more sense to go all over the place. I think it's no secret. We've been having this conversation quite a lot of time on our podcast, but yeah, we're really old school vocal. You know what I mean? Like huge highs,
for sure,
big lows type of thing. So what you guys did, just, it's perfect. And me personally, the more you squeal, the more I like it in general.
Dude, we got more of that coming.
I'll be waiting for it. It's really cool.
I mean, look, we're alluding to it, so we may as well kind of dip our toes into that. So look, you guys you kind of teased this in January. This is all super recent, right? You teased the project first in January, put out a single a few weeks later. The album just came out last month, the EP. You guys have put out a surprising amount of promotional material. I hate to use the word content, but I guess content, around the release, whether it be visualizers, shorter videos, the playthrough, 2 different merch drops. You've got the CDs, you've got the vinyl drop. Like these are all things that came out at different points. Can you kind of talk to us a little bit about the rollout process and how much, because it seems like a very involved process, right? Like all that takes time and effort and all that. So how much was the planning for that, and was that hard to go through? Was that
it was relatively getting everything together, which is a time consuming process. But the actual planning, what I did before we went live with any of our socials or anything was I looked at other bands that are doing it right now from the very beginning of their Instagram accounts. And I looked at how did they present themselves to the world for the first time? how did they announce their first single, how did they announce their EP, and I kind of tried to model our rollout in the same fashion without trying to, obviously steal what they were doing. But it kind of went back to the whole, if it works for somebody, why not apply it to yourself too? Mm-hmm. So I really modeled our rollout after a lot of the bands that are currently out right now.
It makes sense too, because what you're talking about basically is branding, right? Like, it's like, because everything you're describing at the moment, there are some bands that the project is really cool, but they don't pay attention to, they don't think about it. So they just end up, or they try to do like a band that it's so not what they're doing, so it doesn't really apply. What I'm hearing is that there's a lot of, I'm pretty sure the fact that you've been around for a while, you've seen things, probably plays into like, you want to do things proper, because you probably saw the difference between applying yourself, work with artists, doing the right way, as opposed to just like, hey, let's do whatever. Let's just like drop that, right?
Yeah. And I've made a lot of mistakes, even with this, like there's things in the rollout that just didn't go the way I properly wanted to. And it's just, it's doing it and then learning and then redoing it. It's just it's a constant process.
Can we linger on that for a second? Like, was there?
Yeah.
Do you have any kind of like examples of something that, I don't want to throw yourself under the bus or anything, but I'm just curious. Something that you thought went wrong.
Nothing like crazy went wrong. I'm pretty sure I set the release date to the wrong date on DistroKid when I first uploaded it.
Okay.
This is just a little shit like that. You know what I mean?
Did it surprise drop or without you knowing, or it was for later? No. It wasn't coming out.
I caught it. Thank God. I was able to change the date. But dude, honestly, nothing too crazy that I fucked up on. Thank God. Thank God.
No, but sometimes it's just like an expectation thing, and then it, you think something's going to do better, and then it doesn't do as well. Yeah. It's not necessarily like these big major flaws that are catastrophes, But
for sure, I think maybe it's just like posting at a certain time and thinking it's going to get way more traction, and it just falls so flat, and you're like, oh my God, like what the fuck? Kind of hits you for a second, but. That's just all, like I said, it's all about learning, seeing what works best.
And there's a lot of luck too. You know what I mean? Like right place, right time. Like I'm not saying like obviously preparation, knowing your brand, knowing your stuff, sure. But like there's still a part of luck in that, because sometimes you post, you did everything right. It's supposed to be okay. You look at the analytic, everything. And sometimes you're just like, oh, I know I won't. You're not expecting anything. Post that in 5 minutes. Just works super well, and you're just like, what happened? So there's a bit of
we're all the slaves to the algorithm. So that's
just how it is. Yeah, we sure are. A mercy of the algorithm.
For sure.
Yeah. She's a cruel, unforgiving woman.
I mean, for sure, because with music, let's be honest, there's also this, you spend so much time, right? Like there's a big vulnerable part of you when you post music. It's not like, you know what I mean? Like if you post a picture, it's just like, okay, nothing's gonna happen. But music, you spend like with the people you work with, everything involved, like it feels like there's more on the table, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking terrifying.
So
it scares the shit out of me.
People are ready.
Yeah, they are.
That's why I'm a big fan of a lot of these newer bands putting out more frequent, short albums, EPs, just kind of putting out music all the time, as opposed to for so long we were used to a band like their only release was like every 3-4 years sometimes, and everything rides on that one release. And if it goes wrong, it's like you're fucked. You're waiting another 4 years? Like it's crazy, So I'm really digging the kind of smaller release cycle stuff that we're seeing right now.
It's the move, man. People's attention span is not long enough. You got to really, if you got to really, really capture them, and you got to keep capturing them, or else you're just going to lose them.
True for sure. And Sorry, you can.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, it's just also like you have a chance to redeem yourself if something doesn't go out the way you wanted it to, right? Like, as opposed to having to wait for, for a number of years and people involved, and the money that's involved in all of it too. Like, just being able to kind of quickly to adapt as well. You're like you put out music, you kind of hear feedback, or you saw how things play out live, and you can immediately put it towards something that's maybe coming out in 9 months instead of 4 years. It's just I love that idea. In general.
Absolutely, absolutely, man.
Try out different vibes.
Yeah, and that's the mindset we wanted to take with this. We just wanted to be as consistent as possible. So we're gonna constantly have stuff coming out, hopefully.
I'm curious about that. That was the question I was about to ask. Is like, because I'm hearing that the music that's out right now, you already worked on new stuff. You're already ready. You already got stuff. Do you always feel like when things are releasing, you're already stoked on the next thing? So you're like, wait to hear that.
Dude, so we wrote and recorded and mixed our EP, and then immediately after had like 5 or 6 songs written for another EP. And then Jesse wrote another song, and I'm like, all right, this is the song that we release as a single after this next EP that we're going to put out, and it's like, and I'm like, and I just kind of want to put it out next, because I'm like, I'm just so excited about this one. It's yeah, dude, absolutely.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It means we're going to have more music. It's great.
Absolutely.
I mean, look, the little snippets you guys have been posting here and there on the socials have been sounding like some more juicy breakdowns. So I've been loving what I'm hearing.
It's fun stuff, man. It's really fun.
What's the plan with like live shows and stuff?
We are going to be playing live shows for sure. We are trying to plan our first run of shows right now, but we really want to make it special. We're probably just going to be doing Canada for the first little bit, because as you guys know, work visa stuff is just so expensive, and it takes forever. And for a smaller band, it's not that it's not worth it, because I hate saying that to my American friends, and if there's any American fans of us.
Okay, so let me say it for you. It's not worth it.
Yeah, it's not, dude. It's
unless you're in the States for multiple months throughout that year, you're not making that money back unless you've got like crazy ridiculous hype,
Exactly, man. And we just don't have that yet. So we're gonna table the US for a minute, but we're gonna really try to put our footing in Canada where we can. And I want to bring like cool fucking bands to Canada, because I feel like Canada gets pretty slept on with this kind of stuff. So.
And sometimes we're talking about building hype. Sometimes what you do some sick shows locally, but you film it well, right? Like you do something cool, and then next thing you know, it's like people are just like, we want that in the US. So by doing that, you're just building more hype too.
Absolutely.
It creates the expectation of just like, I know, because it's the same thing here, but opposite sides. We're always like, I want to see that, and we cannot because we're far. So it's kind of same thing in reverse. So.
Dude, Quebec has one of the best metal scenes in general, I find, though. Like it's crazy up there. Every show I've ever done up there has just been like amazing. It's so different from Ontario, I feel like.
What do you mean? What do you mean by Quebec? Do you mean Montreal, or do you mean Quebec as a whole?
Montreal, Quebec City. Yeah, but Montreal, Quebec City, I feel like the two big ones right now. But I've never done a bad show in either of those cities.
I mean, you're lucky though. I'll say that you're lucky, because the truth is, like, Montreal, it's like there's so much going on, I guess is what it comes down to. If you're a massive band, there isn't much of a problem, but if you're kind of like mid-pack or like a smaller band, it's kind of like depends what else is going on that same week and or night. If
that's like Toronto too.
Yeah. There's no you touched on this a couple of minutes ago too. There's no there's no revival bands right now in Canada though, and that goes as much for Quebec as Ontario. So you talk about bringing some bands over. That's kind of like the only thing that makes sense if you want to have a more revival package right now, you know?
Yeah, dude, I think the closest maybe we have to a revival band in Canada right now would be Without a Face.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
1000%.
God.
You know, they're immediately, like, when I first heard them, I found Kevin wherever he was on social media and just was like, we're doing something together. I hope you don't have a fucking choice.
I'll be honest, it's one of the best things. I cannot shut up about it. Like, people who've been following me on my socials, like, I keep talking about Without a Face. I swear it's not any paid thing. Like, it's just me who keeps talking about it because it's so freaking good. And Kevin is so cool as a person as well. You know? Like,
and dude, they are going to blow the fuck up.
Well, already, I mean, it's pretty impressive. I've looked, every time I look on Spotify or, you know, just kind of curious how it goes, it's always like twice the amount of last time that I've looked. It's going there, you know? It's getting
absolutely, dude. It's happening.
Oh my God. But you guys, and it would fit, right? Like, I'm trying to picture a show with both of you, but it makes sense.
Dude,
yeah,
I mean, if we could get
rest in peace the venues for sure.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Exactly. But dude, if we could get bands like Crucifixion down here, you know, I've mentioned them a million times, Peacemaker, you know, I Saw God.
I mean,
any
we'll
of those
be here.
Fuck yeah. But that's my plan. I want to get bands like those down to Canada and show, you know, people what it's really like.
So you're the one who's going to save us and bring all those bands that we want to see since forever. You're the savior for that.
I want to try my goddamn best.
No, well, look, because candidly, I know I concretely know, you know, some bands that have tried to get some shit booked in Canada from the revival bands, and they've just never really known where to look. And even with you know I've tried to help some people out, but I'm way out of the game at this point. Also, you know, as I haven't booked a show and fucking booked a band in like 7 years at this point, so my contacts are kind of outdated at this point. But
they're retired.
I mean, retired. Me fucking too, dude. So I'm gonna figure it out pretty quick, hopefully.
Talking about that, by the way, not to jump or whatever, but was it surprising for you as well to see like how young people in the revival are doing music that we were listening to, kind of thing? Was that a bit surprising for you when you went back in it?
It's surprising, but it's not at the same time, because we were that age when we got into it. You know what I mean? You know, seeing that video of that band Reverend playing the show, it looked like I was watching a video from Suicide Silence playing pre-cleansing era. You know what I mean? So I think, I don't know. It's crazy, man. I think every 10 years or so, there's just the new wave of Suicide Silences and Whitechapels that are coming. And I think we're starting to slowly see it with bands like Without a Face. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know where I was going with that. But
no, but you bring up a really good point. First of all, pre-cleansing era is always going to be my favorite, and second of all, like it's true that like it's a new energy, and it would make sense, right? We had like the modern deathcore thing in my brain. It just makes sense that the next whatever thing is kind of that cycle of more, you know, Psycho Frame and all those, you know, crazy bands, which is what I wish every single day, because I'm going to be happy as I'm already really happy to see that. But like if it just goes in that direction, it's going to be amazing. So,
and look, we're not the ones who are moshing, so we need some youngins to do that in our set. So far, they've been doing a great job judging on those videos. But it's true though, dude. You mentioned like Reverend, like they were just doing that tour with like Victim Blamed and In Which Divides Us and Ashes at Last, dude.
Insane.
Every single one of those shows was like 200, 300, 400 fucking kids on a Wednesday night. And it's, dude, the thing I kept on every time I saw one of these videos, I just kept thinking to myself, like, I am twice the age as everybody in this room. There is nobody above the age 30 in this room right now. But it's cool to see, man. It's because I mean, let's be real. The 30-year-olds just, I mean, to my point, they're not the ones at the shows. They're not the ones going out and supporting. That's not what's like creating the scene, right? So it's cool to see like so many young kids really fucking with it and like in a big way. Like these again, like these massive crowds.
No phones most of the time, just like people going insane. You know, it's one. I just want to say also, it's one of the only scene that you won't see phones. You're going to see people going crazy and stuff like that, right? Because of the intensity. Because even if you want to push it, you're just going to lose your phone probably. So it's not a good idea. But it creates. It's like going back in time. Every time I see that, I'm like kind of surprised. Like in a good way, I'm like, they're just going crazy. There's no, you know what I mean? It's insane.
The kids are all right. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Dude, it's so special to see, man. Like it's awesome. You know, the scene needs that. The scene needs that youthful revival.
True.
You got King of the Hopeless in chat. He's saying, I think I was the only person that was 30 at the victim blame show I was at. I saw recently. That checks out.
Yeah. I feel your pain, dude.
Back pain.
I feel your pain. Yeah. All pain, dude. My knees. Yeah.
Exactly. No, but it's a good point that you're bringing up. Like it's not the old, like it's not us who's going to make something hype, unfortunately. You know, within music, yeah, sure, you know, you can make music, but like at the shows, it's young people. A scene is never going to thrive without young people being there and showing up. That's that's just the truth, you know.
Yeah.
So
and dude, they'll start their own bands, and it's gonna keep going, man. It's a cycle that will never be stopped, and it's fucking awesome. I mean, I fucking hope it'll never be stopped, you know?
Let's make sure it doesn't.
10 years ago, I'd be lying if I said I thought we'd be having these conversations and talking about MySpace deathcore in the year 2025. So, hey, I'm here for it, but I was not expecting this, you know?
For sure. Dude, me neither. I feel like it came out of nowhere too, you know, this revival. Like I don't know.
I started seeing a lot of like an emo and screamo revival a couple years before the deathcore stuff hit. But even then, I wasn't thinking to myself like, oh yeah, we're gonna have bands trying to sound like old school Suicide Silence coming out in 2020. That was still not on my bingo card. So it's cool. It's cool to see the different energy that they're bringing. It's not like, I feel like for the most part, obviously there's the more there's going to be, the less it's going to be this way. But I feel like for the most part, you know, it's not just bands trying to rip off Suicide Silence or Whitechapel or these older bands. You know, it's bands that are doing their own thing and bringing a new twist to it, and that's been the super refreshing part of it. Because I don't need a new old school Suicide Silence. We still have that music. It's chill, you know. But it's been cool to see some freshness to that old sound, you know.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah. You've named good examples, you know, like Without a Face, those bands. Like it's even, I would even say it's hard to categorize. Like it's even, you know, I know it's deathcore and stuff like that, but it's kind of a specific, I don't even know how to call it. You know what I mean? There's kind of beat down in it. It's kind of, and even you guys, honestly, like it's hard. And to me, it's a really good sign. When it's hard to compare with like a name or an old band, it's like, it means you're doing something new, something fresh. So.
Dude, and that's something we always kind of wanted to do too. Like we wanted to write with Suicide Silence in mind, but we didn't want somebody to go, oh, this just sounds like Suicide Silence, you know? And I feel like, dude, I don't think there's a single band in this revival thing that I'm like, oh, that's Suicide Silence. You know, everybody is doing their own thing, which is so sick because I thought we ran out of breakdowns.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Feels like we never will.
I know.
I felt like that. It felt like that for a while back in the days. Imagine, like we all felt like it was just like, can we even figure out new patterns at this point? And here we are.
Dude, I used to have like an existential crisis about it. I'm like, there's just one day going to be nothing for us to write anymore. Like there's like, you know, yeah.
Little did we know, we're here.
It's still going strong.
Hey,
Yeah.
well, breakdowns are timeless, said
They
someone,
sure
I
are.
guess.
Said me.
Said everybody.
Still like these old breakdown, but it's funny sometimes how you can recognize the age of a breakdown. You know what I mean? Like if you go back to old school breakdowns, it's like a super simple like like you're just like,
Yeah,
okay,
dude.
2007, you know?
It doesn't hit
dude,
anymore.
I know, dude. I love that bands are bringing back the snare build up breakdowns. You know what I mean? It's so awesome. That shit just gets me going.
Gang vocals and stuff.
Yes, dude. Yes.
2 steps and deathcore.
Yep. It's great, man. Yep. Yeah. We're back. We're so back.
I'd love to kind of switch gears for a minute. I'd love to kind of talk about mixing. Live sound mixing, studio mix. You went to audio. What is it? Audio engineering school? Is that how you call it? what was?
Yeah. Audio engineering school is the best way to describe it.
So I saw this thing kind of, I'm assuming there's a bit of it that's to promote the school ultimately, but you kind of talking about the benefits of going to school for audio versus just kind of like learning stuff on YouTube, just because I feel like that's the route that a lot of people go down nowadays, because there is just so much online and there is just so much that's like accessible now and resources that previously weren't available. But you were pretty, in what I was listening to, you're adamant on the fact that like school, at least for you, is like the right thing, right? Can you kind of speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I've always just kind of been a person that I need somebody in front of me guiding me by hand how to work all this shit. You know what I mean? I always kind of dabbled with recording and stuff before I went to school, but I pull up programs and I look at it and be like, I don't know what the fuck this is. And I don't know how the fuck to work it. And I tried to watch YouTube videos and they'd be like, it's so simple. You just, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I can't fucking understand this shit. So for me, school was really, really important. But man, there's like, you don't have to do school. You know what I mean? It's one of those, the world has changed so much where like having a piece of paper that says you went to school and you're trained in this doesn't mean shit. Like a majority of the people that I work with have just learned from experience from the very beginning, and they're doing the same shit that I'm doing, you know? But yeah, for me, school was pretty crucial.
Was there any kind of like, I don't know how to say it, like on the field experience in those regards? Like, I don't know what's the word in English? The stage,
internship. Yeah,
internships or stuff like that. Like at the end of those programs, like how does that kind of work to graduate ultimately?
Yeah, so usually a lot of the kids with the better marks would get the first grab at internships. But I mean, marks don't really mean anything, you know? It's like, I know kids who did crazy internships after school and now they're not doing anything in audio, you know? It's just like, when I got out of school, I kind of just grinded to try to make as many local audio connections as I possibly could. And, like there wasn't a single thing from my school that got me like to my job now. I mean, does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like special perk or access or anything like that. But it's the knowledge, right? It's it's what you were able to actually learn more than anything else.
Exactly. Yeah. But the program was cool because we would do classes and then we'd have lab time. So you get like whatever you learn in class that day, you go into a studio at the school and you're doing that stuff. Like you're twisting the knobs, you're recording a singer in a live room. So there's a lot of hands-on application in that regard. But I also went to school at a weird time. I went during COVID. So there wasn't, usually they would have like, I guess, field trips where you go to Scotiabank Center in Toronto, or you get to work behind the scenes at a show, but we didn't really get to do that, unfortunately. So we really had to make those connections ourselves once we got out.
It's interesting also because it's something that you would think. I feel like a lot of people being disappointed by school were kind of hoping they would get like contacts and stuff like afterwards. Like I feel like a lot of people think it's just going to be like kind of easy once they go. But the truth is, it really relies on you. You know, it's a tool that you have. And it's great, you know, and I do believe there's a lot of benefits, but I feel like people need to understand you're still going to be on your own in terms of just like figuring it out and like finding opportunities, right? Like maybe it depends on what and like is it, I mean there's many programs and many schools and stuff, but in general that's kind of what it is. Like all my friends who has great school papers and stuff, they were just like, dude, I got out, I didn't really know, I just kind of figured it out. So.
Dude, everybody always says that the hardest part of school is when you get out of school. Like that's when you have to work the hardest, you know?
Yeah.
It's not that you're not working hard in school, but like you got to figure it out now. You know, nobody's going to really hold your hand now and walk you into a job. Yeah.
So what was the pipeline, I guess, from school to Knocked Loose? Like,
dude,
which is insane.
Were you still? Was it still kind of COVID when you got out of school? Were you wanting to do studio mixing, or did you know you wanted to do like live audio? What was the whole process there?
So I got out of school, and I immediately tried to open my own studio in Windsor, which not that it didn't work very well, but Windsor is just not a big enough city to be able to run a studio full time. But through that, I got connected with the guitarist of the band Stick to Your Guns. His name's Chris Rawson. I found out he lived in Windsor, and we met up, and he was trying to learn some audio stuff. And so I kind of went, okay, I'm going to try to teach this guy as much as I possibly can. And then I'd joke and I'd show him a million things. He'd go, how do I repay you for this, dude? And I'd be like, just take me on tour one day, you know? But I would always be joking. And then he messaged me. Yeah, unless a hard unless.
Except.
Yeah, but dude, then one day he messaged me and he said, hey, do you think you could do front of house? And I had never mixed before that. And I said, fuck, of course I can. What are you talking about? I'm a fucking pro, dude.
100%.
Yeah. And then he sent me the tour routing, and the first show on the tour was Rock am Ring in Germany, which is like,
Jesus fucking Christ.
It's like, it's the biggest metal and rock festival in Europe, basically.
What?
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, fuck, of course I can do that.
For sure. Easy.
And yeah, so dude, I agreed to the tour. I quit my job in Windsor that I did have to try to make me some extra money. I was working in IT. It's kind of hating my life. Because that was the only job that I could get with my education in Windsor. You know, it was awful. But went on the tour, dude, and the first show at Rock am Ring ended up being a headlining slot at Rock am Ring. I thought we were just going to be like middle of the day, fucking rinky dink stage. We were fucking headline spot for 90,000 people. And dude, and it was literally the first time I had been behind a board, like professionally. Like we had mixed on boards at school and stuff. But it was really like, all right, you're in the fucking deep end now, so figure it out. And the way these festivals work is that there's no sound check. You just get a line check. So you make sure you're getting all your mics, and then you're mixing as the first song. You're mixing
during the first song. Like that's,
yeah. And dude, it was fucking crazy. And I had many panic attacks throughout that day. And like, I don't remember, I tell everybody, I don't remember a lot of the actual set just because it was such a fucking rush. But everything, dude, after that, it all just kind of made sense, you know, like mixing became a bit easier. And by the end of the tour, man, I was like really in my element, and it was getting compliments on my mixes. The band was getting compliments on their mixes. And I ended up meeting Knocked Loose on that tour, who were managed by the same people. Introduced myself to them. That tour ended up ending, and I got home. And another tour was Stick to Your Guns and Knocked Loose got announced in Europe. And Stick to Your Guns had already asked me to do that. So I said, of course. But then I emailed Knocked Loose's manager and just said, hey, do they need a sound guy? And they did. And it's literally been history. The
Kind
rest
of
is just
insane.
it's
Though.
dude. Yeah. I tell everybody, dude, that my life changed within the span of a phone call, pretty much. It was fucking crazy.
But it goes to show, though, because you say that, but like it was also terrifying, right? Like,
Yeah.
not to be negative. I'm just saying, like, tons of people would have been like, too scared. You know what I mean? And I could have been one of those people. Just to be very fair, I'm really anxious in life.
You got to be a little bit delusional to say.
Dude,
yes.
I'm an extremely high anxiety person, so I don't know how I'm able to do this job half the time, but I think I just have the confidence in my abilities now, but at the very beginning, there was some like my whole body just physically shaking while I'm at the board just because I'm so fucking nervous. But now it's just so exciting. Like I just have so much fun.
How'd that first set turn out? Like, I'm sure you've seen videos after the fact or feedback from the guys or from other people. Like, was it a shit show ultimately?
Listen,
did you pull through? What was
you
kind of left us hanging on that one.
It's just like, it was terrible.
All I'm gonna say is that sound came out of the PA.
Okay,
that's
there's that.
Was it good sound? I don't know. It wasn't great. It was definitely a first show, if I can say that much. Yeah. But like I said, after that, I kind of figured out what I needed to do. Right. Yeah. I was thrown so far in the deep end, mixing a band that I've never mixed before. I had listened to Stick to Your Guns quite a bit. They were one of my favorite bands when I was in high school. But I was very much completely out of my element for that the first 2 days, at least.
Well, let's be honest. You started big too. I mean, like, let's just put that on the table. It's like there's a big difference between like, hey, we're gonna play like this one show. Do you want to mix at this little venue? You freaking did like like an extreme huge thing. It's like,
dude. And it only got bigger after that, man. Like within that first 6 months of me mixing, like in general, we did Coachella with Knocked Loose. We did Bonnaroo right after that. Like we did even like within like the last 6 months, we did Jimmy Kimmel, and that feels fucking crazy to me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like there's been guys that I've been mixing alongside who have been doing this for 10 or 15 years who haven't gotten that opportunity. And I feel so lucky and so grateful to be able to be doing any of that,
Madison Square Garden must have been fucking insane too. Like that's such an iconic, venue to.
Yeah, dude, and it was one of my favorite mixes too. It was like, yeah, dude. There's been a lot of crazy shit that's happened.
Were you a little bit stressed, like for the first, I guess, Knocked Loose feedback, or you kind of knew the guy? They heard what you could do, and it was just kind of, it's going to be fine type thing? Or
I was definitely nervous, just because I didn't know what they were expecting. And like I said, I hadn't mixed them before either. But the first couple shows I did with them, Brian, the vocalist, texted me and said, Matt, we need you in the green room right now, directly after one of the sets. And I'm like, oh my fucking God. I'm going home.
Yeah, tell that to an anxious person and see how they react.
Yeah. But he pulled me into the green room. He's like, hey man, that was the best we've ever sounded. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, dude.
Don't ever do that to me again.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. But by the end of that first Europe tour that I did with them, we kind of, by the end of it, we were like, okay, I can be your guy if you want me to be your guy. And they're like, absolutely. So it's just been history after that, man. You make them happy and they never want to let you go.
Congrats, by the way, because I don't.
Thank you.
You're welcome, but I don't feel like people outside of the scene or music know how it does all the difference. You can have the best band in the world. If you don't have someone who properly do the sound part, it's probably going to be terrible, unfortunately. As talentful, as amazing as the band can be, I fully remember, and I won't name any bands for obvious reasons, but like, I remember knowing that the band is amazing, but that like what's happening, with the sound. So there's that as well. Like a lot. I'm just saying that just to say, like, for people who don't know, there's a lot on your shoulders in terms of quality and show too. So,
dude, absolutely. And I think a big thing for me too is that I want to mix Knocked Loose the way that I want to hear them. You know what I mean? And I feel like I like to think that my mixing taste will suit what other people want to hear too. But yeah, dude, there's been some bands that have been, ruined for me by really, really bad mixes. And it's sad, because you can't fault the band.
Yeah, I think there's like there's also something to be said about just understanding the music, right? It's something you kind of just touched on, like even you were talking about mixing Stick to Your Guns for the first time. It's the first time you're mixing. It's this big fucking thing. It's nerve-wracking as all hell, but at least you know the band, right? And I feel like sometimes just that is enough. Obviously, you've got to have like a bass line, but like I feel like some mixes, maybe you know more about this than me, so maybe you can speak to this. But I've always found that like I would rather have someone that's less experienced, but at least understands what the band is going for, than someone that's fucking amazing but doesn't get the sound. I've heard so many bands that just the mix just doesn't cater to the band, and that goes with studio mixing too. You'll all the time you'll hear mixes that just don't make sense for the band, and it's just like, all right, it's just a weird thing. So
yeah, some guys just don't have the ear for it, and that's not me talking bad about any engineers, because obviously you're in that job for a reason. The band has to have some form of trust, but yeah, there's I won't go further.
But ear could be like just personal taste, right? Like that's what it kind of like
Absolutely.
what and personal taste, and they could do a great job for something else that maybe just caters what they enjoy more, than whatever they're currently doing. So I don't know. I've always kind of found that to be like a weird thing in the mixing space specifically, just because like it is very taste dependent, right?
Yep. And dude, you saw that we saw that really come out with Lorna Shore. Remember when people were really ragging on their mix, which was a fucking incredible mix, because Josh Schrader is like one of the best mixing engineers, but you just see people who just, man, if it doesn't match their taste, they'll let you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's I wanted to you mentioned Kimmel, and this is kind of like
it's insane.
That's kind of like mind blowing to kind of go through. Like we're talking. Look, we got a pig squeal on national television. We got snare bombs, which we have you to thank for, I'm sure. So what? Yeah. How much red? I'm just curious, I guess, first and foremost, like how much red tape was there around like that performance? Like, was it kind of? Yeah, I'm just curious because like obviously there's like it's. I don't know, like it's on TV, there's sponsors, there's all these things and at play, right? So how much red tape? How was that whole experience for you?
It was more so red tape with dealing with different unions on the movie sets or like the TV sets in general, because they're very strict. Like they had to get special permission for me to be able to mix at the live show. Like our lighting person, Taylor, was not able to do lights whatsoever. Like they just wouldn't let her touch the board. But in terms of red tape, they were pretty lenient, they didn't really say anything about swearing, just because it was taped and then mixed post recording. But yeah, it was relatively stress-free.
So is there like a huge difference in the mix, that we heard on TV versus the mix that we like? Who mixes that for TV afterwards? It's like that, because that it goes back to the conversation we just had, right? Like someone who doesn't understand the thing might make it sound weird, but it sounded great on TV for what it's worth.
Well, so that was a really interesting thing. So they have a full studio, like recording studio in the Kimmel Studios. And there's a man there who's an extremely talented mixing engineer, but to his credit was probably a little thrown off with the style of Knocked Loose, because they're a tough band to mix if you don't know what's going on. So as soon as the show was done, he started mixing it, and the band or somebody came in to listen to it and went So me and my monitor engineer, Sean Harvey, very extremely talented and wonderful guy, we got called up into the studio, and me and him, more so him, we basically told the guy, okay, let's bring this down. Let's try EQing this a certain way. Let's add a snare bomb. Let's, for the squeal, let's bump that squeal up just for that part. And just really kind of helped him balance out the mix. It was pretty rough when we went into the studio initially, but it came out great, man. And the guy was so easy to work with too. That's why I'm not trying to say like he did a bad job, because he didn't whatsoever. He was just very out of his element. But it was a really cool experience, man. Jordan Fish from Bring the Horizon was also there mixing it with us too, because he's Poppy's. Yeah, dude, it's insane. Just being in a room with him in general was pretty crazy. But yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah, it's pretty nuts, man.
I mean, like, we're talking Jimmy Kimmel. We're talking about the place where like Blink-182 would be, and like it's like the big, like when I heard that, I was like, really? Because Knocked Loose, some bands sometimes they have like softer material that they can play. Like I still remember asking Exandria back then. Yeah, they were playing a few breakdowns, but you could tell it was like a song kind of specifically for that setting, a little more poppy. But Knocked Loose, I was like, there's no
pig squeals, snare bombs. Hell yeah!
It was unapologetically a Knocked Loose set.
Which is super real. Like I feel like a lot of bands would have maybe take a decision of just like, oh, maybe we should, but they were just like, we're Knocked Loose. That's what we get.
Absolutely, dude.
That's cool. Awesome. It's cool that you guys were able to come in though and to kind of guide that mix, right? Like because it could have turned out completely different, but that could have been on them, right? They could have been closed off to the idea of having other people come in and kind of help them out, or quote unquote tell them what to do. He could have mixer dude could have had an ego and been like, no, hell no, I'm doing this my way or whatever. And
the studio just being
or the studio, like you just so it's cool. Yeah. It's cool that ultimately, because everyone wins in that scenario, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, it just makes everybody happy too. This guy is a little less stressed because he doesn't have to deal with the mix himself. We're a little less stressed because we're putting out a product that sounds great and the band's happy with. And it's just, dude, I haven't dealt with a lot of really big egos since I've been out. It's everybody who is at the level that they're doing this crazy big shit is more or less extremely humble, which is really awesome to see.
That's what I was going to mention. The real egos are in the shitty fucking dive bars and those small glass. That's the reality. Unfortunately, it's crazy how that works.
It's insane, man. I've mixed bigger egos in cover bands than I have in fucking Grammy nominated bands. You know what I mean? Like people need to get themselves in check a little bit. The local heroes.
Though. Yeah, like all the think about like legend. Of course, there are certain exceptions, like everything, but like mostly, right? You mentioned Mitch earlier. We always talk about Mitch, and everybody's just like Phil from Whitechapel. All those dudes, they're just great people. You mentioned Brian. I've watched like 1,000 interviews with Brian. He seems like just a great, cool guy. Like they're all. You know what I mean?
Look, he fucks with MySpace deathcore, so he's good in my books.
Yeah, dude. They're like, I feel like you have to be down to earth, man. You get weeded out so fast if you're not. It's just nobody wants to be around you. It's who the fuck wants to be around an ego,
And even for yourself, I mean, what kind of like, it's not doing any good, No. Like it won't be better. It's just going to be horrible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it goes to show, but I don't know if it's too personal of a question, but like, how was the reaction around you? You know what I mean? Like going to gym, like seeing your life changing. I'm talking like friends or people around or whatever. I'm just like people were just like, what is happening, dude? You know?
It's been pretty crazy, but my friends are so supportive. You know, I have a pretty small group of friends, but they're all just like, a lot of them tell me that I'm exactly where I should be, you know, and like, and as crazy as this shit has been to me, they always tell me that none of this shit is surprising to them. You know, they always felt like I would be doing this kind of stuff. And I always felt like I would be, you know, and so I always wanted to be, you know, I always wanted to do things as big as I possibly could, you know, whether it was with Falsifier or with my own new band or my professional life. The craziest thing has been for my parents, because I'll get even more personal. I went to rehab about 6 years ago, and I was just kind of a mess of a human and at my absolute lowest. And my parents supported me throughout that whole thing. And now them seeing me where I am has just been something so beyond special for all of us, you know, and just having their love and support has just been fucking amazing.
Well, I really mean it, man. Congrats for that, and thank you for sharing. You know, it's very generous and cool for you to say that. You know, because you never know what people are going through, right? Like you see people doing well, you just assume that everything's going well, but like no one really know. And I can only try and imagine it at your place. You know, it's kind of we want to make our parents proud. We want our people to be proud of you. So for you, I'm guessing it was so meaningful to achieve all those things and knowing where you were, you know what I mean? And in those moments you doubt yourself, you're not sure. And, you know, next thing you know, you're exactly where you are. So it's kind of a double win type thing, you know? So
yeah, dude. You know, one of the things that'll always stick out for me in my mind was I got to bring my parents to one of the sold out Slipknot shows in Toronto at Scotiabank Center, which is where my dad's favorite hockey team plays. Mm-hmm. And mid-set, he walked over to me and he told me that he finally understands it. And that was like, oh my God, you know, like this is not that it's all I've been working for, but you know, everybody, you want to make your dad proud, you know?
You turned so around, cool. You told them, "Shut up, Dad. I've got some work to do
right
now."
I'm busy.
I'm busy.
You're ruining it.
No, but out of front house.
Kidding aside, that's like crazy wholesome.
Incredible.
That's that's super cool, right? And I think
you guys.
there is something. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool when it's like big stuff like that, because at that point too, it's like undeniable. You know?
Yeah.
You can't not get it. You're like, you look at the fucking sold out stadium and it's fucking Slipknot, and you're like, all right, this is cool. You know, regardless of if you like the music or not.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing, you know, it's like, yeah, even if he didn't understand a single thing that anybody in the fucking band was saying or what the music was, like what was happening with the music, he knew that I was there for a reason. That was the biggest part.
To me, I get it now is the exact same thing as I'm very proud. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's the same. It's exactly. He could have said it's the same words to me. Like it that's what it means, right? So
yeah. And it's not that he was never supportive, you know, they've always been the most supportive people in my life, but they just didn't get it, you know? And I understand. I didn't expect them to get it. Yeah.
Understandable. Like, let's be honest. Like from the outside, I get it, right? Like every single time I'm trying to show something, I'm doing videos on YouTube, right? Like not to talk about myself, but like I'm doing videos about the MySpace era, about bands. And my mom is like, I'm watching your videos. I'm like, you don't have to. Like, it's like I feel so bad. I'm like, it's just, you know, she's like,
dropped an hour and a half long video.
Dude,
his mom was like, fuck.
Dude, I was on like an hour drive with my stepmom the other day. And she was like, I want you to explain deathcore to me. So I'm like, all right, let's get into it. But like I was showing her different styles of deathcore and how, you know, it comes from death metal, it comes from hardcore, it comes from metalcore, and it's kind of an amalgamation of all of the three, of a bunch of different shit. You know what I mean? But But it was just cool that, seeing her be like, okay, I think I'm starting to understand it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Then I showed her Christian deathcore, and she was like, okay, I don't get it anymore.
It's confusing though. Like, let's be honest. Like, I love Christian, but it's just really special to see. It's not something you would expect.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely.
So I get it. But it shows, I feel like what you just explained, right? Her being like, hey, what is just that? Yep. Open-minded is incredible to me. Just trying, even if you don't get it, but just trying, I think shows a lot on the person. Just
absolutely
trying to get it. So
absolutely.
All right, Matt, I'd love to kind of land the plane here, but you're not gonna get out of here unscathed.
Okay. Oh God.
Okay. So
no.
Prepare yourself.
You're about to watch me crawl into myself, dude.
We're just doing one simple story time here. All right. I've got. Right. I'm gonna need you to explain to us about how Falsifier learned of your real name.
Oh, I mean, I don't know if I remember the exact story. But I'm pretty sure we just went. So my real name is Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody knows that. I have the whitest name ever. It's Thomas Matthew Stanley Andrews. It's fucking
okay.
Crazy.
Four white names. Okay.
Yeah, dude. It's pretty insane. But I'm pretty sure we just went to the border. Like we were crossing to do a U.S. tour, and they said Thomas. I went, yeah, and everybody went, your name's Thomas? Like, I could be very wrong on this story, by the way.
No. I mean, that's so far that's what I'm getting. But what there's some fallback because I mean, I'm sure the agent was kind of confused as to why they didn't know your name. Right?
Oh, dude, yeah, it's yeah. I'm pretty sure he was like, "How come they don't know your real name?" I'm like, "Because I go by Matthew." And he's like, "Well, how can you go by Matthew?" I'm like, shut the fuck up, all right? Just let me into your goddamn country. Talk to my parents, all right? But
but it's so stressful to like those places. Like you're the perfect citizen, and you're stressed like it's the end of your life when you go to these things. I'm speaking for myself, but every single time I'm always like, oh my God, what's gonna? And people are like, dude, just relax. Show you. And every time I'm like, oh my God, like that's like something's gonna happen. They're gonna think I'm something or that I'm, you know what I mean? Every time you see me have face tat, they're always like, what are you doing in life? I'm always like, oh my God.
Dude, I know. Yeah. Dude, I crossed with a band a couple years ago. And we got up to the border, like the checkpoint, and the guy goes, do you have any cannabis? And the guy in the driver's seat goes, I don't think so.
Oh my God.
And we're all dude, why? Why? Just say no. Like, I don't believe so. Are you fucking kidding me?
Not right now.
No.
I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so. Does anybody have any weed, guys? So, no.
Did we smoke
no, but like more specific, like, did anybody not finish their weed from earlier? You know?
Yeah. Oh, I've been lucky though. I haven't had too many crazy border experiences, but I'm not discounting it. You know.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not a fun thing. It's not a fun thing for anybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, just one quick last one then, if you'll indulge us.
Of course.
Warped Tour. Warped Tour and seeing Knocked Loose side stage.
Oh, that's gonna be good.
Oh my God, dude! I tell the Knocked Loose guys about this all the time. Me and Skinner got kicked off their stage for no reason whatsoever. We just went on the side stage because we wanted to be cool. And they came up and they're like, due to the nature of this band, everybody has to clear the stage, and they kicked us the fuck off stage. So every time, the first time I mixed Knocked Loose, I'm like, yeah, last time I saw you guys kicked me the fuck off your stage. And they're like, yeah, probably. I'm like, yeah.
Knowing the crew now, does it make sense?
Oh, dude, yeah. We actively kick people off stage now. I'm like, yeah, get the fuck off stage.
Now you're that person. You're like, get off stage.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking awesome. I love it.
The quote though is great. I found due to the nature of the show.
Yeah,
have to kick
and I'm
you
like,
off.
all right, relax, guys.
Kind of makes sense in this.
It does. It really does.
So
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny, man. Well, dude, thank you so much, man, for taking the time to do this. I know this was kind of last minute, and this was on top of an already hectic day for you. But I'm glad we were able to make this work, man. This was really cool to do.
I'm so happy, guys. This has been fucking awesome.
Hell yeah,
super
man.
exciting for new music as well. Like I'll be honest, like I was like, my mind was blown too. I was just like, you know, because I'm always doing like 50. He's just like, dude, listen to that. It's truly incredible. It's really good. First of all, second of all, I do want to say precisely that like, thank you for being so open to during the like, you know, you say you were really real with how you were feeling and stuff like that, and like it's something that's really appreciated by us, and it's like it's really cool, you know. It's a really important thing for us. So
Of course, you know, you guys are fucking awesome, and I love what you're doing. It's like you guys have one of the coolest podcasts out there right now. So keep doing the incredible things you're doing.
I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
Of course.
Thank you very much.
I'd love to kind of give you the floor to, I don't know, throw people wherever you want to. If you've got anything you want to shout out, socials, check out the band, anything you've got going on, feel free, my man.
What's up, internet? Okay. Jesus Christ. Please cut that from the fucking video. All right. Not too much crazy, you know. We got new Flesh Prison in the works. Hopefully coming sooner than anticipated. It's fucking awesome. You know, we really feel like it's truly the best music that we've made so far. I sent Dom one of the songs already, and hopefully he can attest to it.
Can confirm.
Yeah. Other than that, man, I'm just going to be mixing my life away this year.
There we go. You guys still have some vinyl and CDs available right now. You've got a merch drop right now, right? Am I crazy?
Yep. No, you're not crazy. That's you guys are much better than I am at this shit. Holy fuck. Yeah, we got vinyl still available. The test presses are about to land soon. We have CDs still available, very limited number of CDs. And we have new merch items on our store that should be up. We don't have a date to take them down. So, you know, they're going to be up there. Yeah. Other than that, new music, new merch, new stuff. Happy
just really happy for you, honestly. Like everything you're doing is awesome, you know what I mean? Like the band is great, like you have a great start, people are super happy. The mixing thing, I mean, it's just saying Knocked Loose, I think it says everything. It's really, it's cool to see that you're a great place like that, you know. We'll be following, and it's awesome, truly.
Always rooting for you, my boy.
Thank you so much, boys.
We'll keep talking, man. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your night in the festival, man.
Of course, man. Thank you guys again.
All right, we'll talk to you soon, my man.
All right, see ya.
If you made it to the end of this episode, thank you for watching, and hey, while you're here, hit that subscribe or follow button and a review. If you're watching or listening on a podcast platform, it would mean the world, and it helps out more than you know. A big thank you as well to all of our supporters over on Patreon and on Twitch. New episodes every week, links to our Patreon, Discord, and socials in the description. We'll see you soon. We're out.